Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy RC the Great, back with another quick video. I actually have a new series in mind for you guys. I just got home and I decided to start a new series on what I usually do when I get home and I'm looking at the auction house. I'm going to call this series Market Watch. If you're interested in something like this, make sure you leave a like on this video and sub to the channel. Market Watch is pretty much going to be talking about the upcoming packs that are going to be happening soon, what current prices are for certain cards, what I expect to happen in the market with certain card price fluctuations and things like that, what the supply is of certain cards and the demand. So all kind of like stock talk, because I like stocks. But if you're going to be interested in this, I definitely think it's going to be beneficial to understand what cards to invest in and what cards can possibly make you the most MT and give you the best bang for your buck if you're going to be investing in them before packs drop, after packs drop, and why that thought process is going to be able to help you out in what you're going to be doing. So let's take a look at some of the things that I've been doing and looking at in the markets lately. So as we can see, we have these flash packs currently out right now, and they still have 3 days left on them, 3 days and 17 hours. Then you have the playoff dimers that have 17 hours left. So the supply is going to be way lower for these cards, especially when they expire tomorrow and new packs drop. So what happens when new packs drop? People are going to be opening packs. You're going to see an increase in badges. You're going to see an increase in contracts and coaches and all things sold for cheap. So you're going to be looking to buy those things on pack days. You do not buy coaches, badges, or a surplus of badges and stuff like that on non-pack days, because there's going to be the most of them when packs drop. But let's talk about what can happen with prices if you wait to certain times. So right now we got the playoff dimers getting ready to end. This is also a collection reward. You have Steve Nash, Chris Webber, Sleepy Floyd, Robert Reed, and Doc Rivers. They get you Draymond Green if you collect all of these cards, right? So if we go over to the auction house and we look up Chris Webber, he is going for about 150K MT right now. So right now the bid is over 100K. Last one I saw went for about 150. If you look for a buy now, there are no buy nows right now, unless you try to snipe him, which is going to take a while because there's less supply right now. Why this matters is because once he is fully out of packs, his price is going to go up even more because he's not going to be pulled as often. There's not going to be many of him left. So you're going to want to either invest in that card now or when packs first drop, especially if you're going to want to make MT from him. How do I know this? Let's go over to Diamond Center. If we look for Hakeem Olajuwon, he's still way above 100K. His packs are no longer available. I'm not going to talk about that Alonzo Mourning. He still has a ton in there. This Ben Wallace, he is also a collector level reward for that Gary Payton. He is 300K now. Do you know when Ben Wallace first dropped, he was about 85, 70K. Nobody wanted the card. There was so many Ben Wallaces in the auction house at first. You were able to snipe them easily. Now you cannot find a Ben Wallace for less than like 200K in the auction house. You'd be lucky to find one. So you guys have to be very strategic when you're getting these cards on pack days and knowing why certain cards are going to be going up or down. Let me show you something that I'm doing that I've stacked up on in my auctions. I have 3 Mono Ginobili's from the VIP set or the Idol set, and I have 3 Glitch John Stocktons. The reason why I am keeping these, Mono Ginobili, if we go over to collections, Mono Ginobili, he is in premium. Let's go to Idols. There are going to be 4 other cards that release for a mysterious player. If you've played 2K for a while, you know that when this player actually drops and they show us who it is, the price is either going to go up or down based on who this card is. If this card is very good, I think it's Dr. J, I'm not sure, but if this card is very good, Manu's price is going to skyrocket. Now this is just my thought process on this. Make sure you guys are still having your own thoughts on this because the prices can go up or down, but I strongly believe that Manu's price is going to increase over time. I got all of these cards, Manu cards, for like 80K. I invested in them when people were putting up for like 78 or 80K. I got all 3 of them because I'm expecting his price to rise over 150 or about maybe even 200K. So that's why I'm doing that. Now, if we look at the John Stockton card, I have 3 of them in here. He has been fluctuating back and forth. The first night he was going for like 250 after there was a bunch of them in the market. But if we look for John Stockton right now, he's going for about 120. All the John Stocktons I got were about 67 MT when the market was glitched. I found them all. I was actually bid sniping them for about 67K MT. You cannot find Stockton, I do not think, for a buyout right now. There's certain times he's a buyout and there's certain times he's not. My recommendation, if he goes up for a buyout again at like 90K and you have that available to just sit, you should get yourself a Stockton, because not only he's a great card, he can dunk, he can shoot, he plays defense, so you're gonna want him competitively, but he's also a glitched card, and the glitch cards always go for high MT. If his supply goes down, he is going to go up in demand and his price is going to go up. And as we can see, his supply is going down. Now the packs still have a lot of time left in them. They still have 3 days. Once these packs are completely out, I do expect his price to rise. So let's talk about some more cards. Kevin Durant, I also think, is going to be the most expensive card out of the full flash set, even more than Brandon Roy, because Brandon Roy, if we look at Brandon Roy, shooting guard, he is on the Blazers, right? If we look at Brandon Roy, he's still going very low in the auction. But if you look at how many cards of Brandon Roy are in the market, there are still so many of them. If you have this many cards in the market, the supply is still pretty high. So his demand is not going to be very high because everybody can have that card. If you just have 70K, 75K, you can go get him right now. Now, if he starts to drop and his pack out odds start to drop in the market, his price is going to go up. The only way to check that is to always check how many are in the auction house. If you see this many in the auction house, and especially this many for buyout, there's way too much supply at the time. Get them as low as you can. Do not try to buy them very high. You got to be very patient with the auction house because you can lose a lot of value in your cards, especially early on in the game. Now, I know there's a lot of information, but this is the same as the stock market. You don't want to be overbuying or putting too much in at one time because you never know if their price can drop or go up. You have to have a good strategy with this stuff. So you're going to be looking for collecting rewards. Anything that has a collector rewards that is a good reward, like a Draymond, the Gary Payton, anything for that XP, people are going to want to pay a lot for. But then you're also going to be looking at the supply versus the demand. How many people want the card and how many cards are available of that? Let's give you another example. We're going to go back to the playoff stoppers and we're going to look for Doug Christie. If you remember, Doug Christie was going for about 20, maybe 15K when he first came out, right? Look at Doug Christie now. How many cards are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's exactly 19 Doug Christie cards in the auction house. You can count them out. That's how quick you go past. The supply is very low. His price as an amethyst, he's a pretty decent shooting guard. He's already up to about 45, 50K to get this card. And he was 20K when he first came out. His price has doubled because he's a reward. I mean, he's a collector reward. Not collector reward. You guys know what I'm saying. If you get this card and you have all the other playoff stoppers, you get Gary Payton. So him and Ben Wallace have skyrocketed in price. Now, you guys might not think 50K is skyrocketing, but if you bought him for 20K and you sell him for 50K, that's already 100% return. So if you bought 5 Doug Christie's for 20K and you sell them back for 50K, you're making over 100, 200K MT on that investment. So you have to make sure you're understanding what you're doing with these cards. Let's look at another card in the auction house. We're going to look at Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was going about 75K MT I think just a week ago. Now Isaiah Thomas is about he's about 80K buyout. So 80K buyout, so he's increased a little bit, and I expect his price to increase a little bit more. I think he's going to go up high 90s or even 100K once all of his cards are out, because once these people buy these up, he's also in a collection for that Dennis Rodman. Same thing with Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom was a buyout a couple days ago. Now his supply is dropping and dropping and dropping. And now Lamar Odom is over 100K. I got my Lamar Odom for about 80K. I sold him the other day for 140. So Lamar Odom is even less supply in the auction house. So what does this mean? When the packs come out tomorrow, whatever these packs are, if they have a reward for collecting, try not to lock in the set unless you get the cards for very cheap. If you do lock in the set, make sure you get another version of every card. If you have enough MT, Get another version of every card for cheap when the market is flooded with them. The more cards that are in the market, the lower the price is gonna go. Get the card, keep them. Don't be so pressed to sell your cards right away. Keep them in your auctions. Wait for the packs to expire, and then the prices will go up. We're gonna revisit this episode weekly or even 2 times a week, maybe on Mondays and Thursdays before pack days. And we're gonna talk about what happened in the previous week with prices. And we're gonna revisit all of my picks and what I think is gonna happen to prices. So right now, I'm calling out right now, John Stockton, once prices are gone, I believe his price is gonna be over 150K. Manu, once that reward is shown, I believe Manu's price is gonna go over 150K. Chris Webber, in the next couple days, I believe will be over 200K. Lamar Odom is gonna be up over 150K. Doug Christie in the next couple days is probably gonna be around 70K, especially after these next packs clear. And this Kevin Durant, I do think is going to be the highest priced card out of this flash set. Once this Kevin Durant pack is gone, by next week, Kevin Durant's going to be over 200K. I'm calling it now. Mark my words in this video. Now, again, my prices may not be spot on, but we're going to check back at the end of the weeks and see if we were right. So just remember these picks and be strategic of what you're doing with your cards. If you're playing this game to make MT, make sure you're smart with it. You're not just locking in sets just to do it, buying cards for 300K and then just throwing them away for 100K. Try to understand that the cards are going to go down and up in value. You don't want to be stuck with no MT at the end of the year, because honestly, all these cards at the end of the year are not going to be competitive at all. They're not going to matter unless you're collecting them all. If you're collecting every card, that's different. And this is especially important for no money spent. If you're not spending money on the game, you want to make sure you're taking care of your MT. I don't like to spend money on this game. I don't like to buy VC. I like to try to do as best as possible to make sure that I'm taking care of my MT and doing what I got to do. Anyway, we're going to revisit this series. Like I said, this is just a tester video, impromptu. I just wanted to talk about some of the things I look at. If it made sense to you, make sure you like the video. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff and actually me breaking it down like I would a playbook, I can actually do this in a more longer setting, and I can actually edit it like I usually do. But I wanted to make a quick video, show you guys what I usually do when I check the auction house. And usually my auction picks are very, very good. And if you have not checked the Bio 2K video that he just put out about putting badges on your card and upgrading your card's Hall of Fame badges, make sure you go check out Bio 2K's video on badges and upgrading to Hall of Fame badges, because that's another way to add value to your cards. We'll talk about that in another day. We're also going to be talking about the best time to sell your cards and the best way to look at when to sell your cards. So stay tuned. Market Watch series, we're here. Let's go. Your boy R Shady Great. Hit me up in the comments. Talk to y'all later. Peace.